Gary Rowett has been handed an early Christmas present ahead of the Boxing Day trip to Sheffield Wednesday, with a number of key players returning to training after injury.
They've all been back this week training. Again, just looking at the last game, Cots was due to be on the bench but just felt a slight niggle in his knee, and because of Grounds' situation, I didn't want to have anyone on the bench that might end up having to come on the pitch and then come off the pitch, because we felt as though we'd probably have to make another change at some point anyway. So that was a decision that was made. But I think that Grounds miraculously trained this week. I think it just wasn't quite right for the game at the weekend. And Cots, Clayton and Robbo have all trained this week as well. So again, they'll be available for selection, provided they come through the week okay. But I think the issue with that is always going to be, if you were to chuck all three of them into the first game, then the chances are you're going to have to be making probably 3 substitutions around the 60, 70 minute mark. So again, that's always something I have to try and bear in mind. But, it's great to have those options. I'm not sure about Urge yet. I've not spoke to the physios about Urge, but I'm assuming he'd probably be ruled out of these 2 games. But I think it was more tightness and stiffness necessarily than, he's torn his groin or anything like that. So we'll wait and see, but I think fairly positive on the injury news. And as I said before, it'd be great to get the 3 lads back that we've missed. And sometimes, ironically, you almost become a better player when you're not in the team and you're out of the team. So, certainly when you don't win or when you've not played as well, then I think it alerts everyone to how important those players are to our group.
The Owls leapfrog Blues into 7th at the weekend with an impressive win over Wolves. But the manager is confident about his side's chances at Hillsborough.
Yeah, they're a good side. I think the home form's been excellent. I think they've lost 1 game against Middlesbrough, I believe. And they've got some really good attacking options. They're another team that have had a little bit of a go this year in terms of some of their investment. I believe that in January they might just have a little go again. And fair play to them, I think. It's there for any team to try to do what they can to get into the promised land, isn't it? So, but they've got some really good attacking. I think they've got some excellent players in general, but I think particularly in the forward areas, they've got lots of options. Some really, really bright players behind the striker in terms of Forestieri, Bannon, people like that have got very, very good quality. And on their day, if you don't defend well and if you don't defend movement well, particularly in the final third, then as you could see against a team like Wolves, we're not an easy team to score against. I know they're having a little bit of a wobble, but to score 4 goals at home was very, very impressive. So we've got to make sure that we do a lot of elements of the game very, very well. We'll be well prepared, and like we've said before, I think in some ways, I'd rather be playing Sheff Wednesday away than a team in the bottom 3 at home, which is really ironic, but that's the situation we're in at the moment, and I think we're enjoying these types of games away from home. So it's not a precursor of the result, but what it is it tells you our state of mind going into it, that we're more than confident.
It's now just over a week until the transfer window opens, and Gary Rowett confirms that he will certainly be in the market in the January sales.
We are, but I said that last summer, so I'm particularly mindful of extolling the virtue of the fact that I'm going to seal 3 magnificent deals and look like an absolute buffoon on the 31st of January when we've got no players in the building. So I'm tempering that enthusiasm with a little bit of realism. But I am hopeful that, like I said before, we can add 2 or 3 players in positions where we feel we need a little bit more. And it's ironic actually, because sometimes that changes from period to period. You have a period where you think you need a certain player, and then about 3 or 4 games later you go, well, actually maybe that's more of a priority. But we know where we want to add players, and I think that's a little mix. I think we know we need at least 1 more extra body as a defender, and I think in an ideal world we'd bring 2 attacking players. Now, obviously that could fill any 1 of 4 positions, but we would like 2 attacking players to give us more goals, more options. And I think that's certainly something we'd like after Christmas, to have more options. I'd like to struggle to pick a team, because I think that's the challenge I'd like to face after Christmas, and I'm more than ready for that.